Have you ever walked past some derelict factory or an old abandoned rail line in your city and just thought, ugh, well, what if I told you that some of the most visionary planners out there see something totally different? They see an opportunity, a chance to heal our cities. They're turning these forgotten spaces into these incredible public parks. And today, we're going to figure out exactly how they do it.
Just look at this. Seriously. On the one side, you've got this contaminated industrial mess cutting Seattle completely off from its own waterfront. And on the other, the exact same spot totally reimagined as the Olympic Sculpture Park. Now, this isn't just a simple makeover, you know? This is a complete resurrection of the land. The change is, well, it's breathtaking.
So this gets us to the big question, right? What kind of thinking, what kind of, alchemy does it take to turn a polluted wasteland into a thriving public space that actually stitches a city back together?
Well, the answer lies in this really powerful idea that's been reshaping cities for a few decades now. It's a theory, it's a movement, and it's a design philosophy all rolled into one. And it's called landscape urbanism.
This idea basically flips the whole script. Landscape urbanism says, hey, instead of just squeezing little parks into the gaps between buildings, what if the landscape itself, the green spaces, the rivers, the hills, what if that was the main way we organized the entire city? It's all about healing those urban scars by making nature the star of the show.
Okay, so how does this actually work in the real world? Let's kick things off by looking at projects that take the actual skeletons of the industrial age and give them this vibrant new life.
You know it, you love it, New York's iconic High Line. For decades, this thing was just an abandoned, elevated freight line, a rusty eyesore snaking its way through Manhattan. I mean, think about it. It took only about 60 years to go from being this vital piece of infrastructure to totally derelict. But then, in 1999, a group of local residents had this wild idea. Don't tear it down. Let's turn it into a park in the sky.
And what's so fascinating is that this brilliant idea didn't just come out of nowhere. Turns out the folks behind the High Line were inspired by the Promenade Plantée in Paris, which was actually the world's first elevated park, opened way back in 1993. It just goes to show how great urban ideas can hop across oceans.
So repurposing old stuff is one thing, but what if you could engineer totally new landscapes that actively work with nature to solve really modern problems, like, say, flooding or energy consumption?
Okay, check this out. This is Bishan Ang Mo Kio Park in Singapore. And believe it or not, this lush, beautiful river valley used to be a dead straight concrete drainage ditch. The transformation is absolutely stunning, but its beauty, well, that's only half the story.
And here is the hidden genius of it all. By ripping out the concrete and letting the river meander, they created a park that doubles as a dynamic floodplain. So when the water's low, it's a park for people. But when the heavy rains hit, the whole area is designed to flood, holding 40% more water than the old concrete channel ever could. It's such a beautiful solution to a really serious problem.
And sticking with Singapore, you've got the absolutely jaw-dropping super tree growth at Gardens by the Bay. These things are massive, 50-meter-tall vertical gardens that look like they're straight out of a sci-fi movie. They are an incredible spectacle for sure, but just like that river park, their crazy form has a very, very specific function.
So here's the secret. These super trees are basically the high-tech heart of the entire park. They've got photovoltaic cells on top to capture solar energy, they're designed to collect rainwater, and they act as these giant exhaust vents for the park's massive conservatories. They're just beautiful, beautiful engines disguised as art.
All right, so reclaiming old railways and naturalizing canals is one thing, but this final idea is maybe the most audacious one of all. What if your city doesn't have any land to reclaim? Well, you just build it. Literally, from thin air.
Welcome to Clyde Warren Park in Dallas, Texas. Now, this looks like a pretty normal city park, right? Well, it's not. This entire 5-acre green space is built on a massive deck over an 8-lane freeway that used to just slice right through the city. They didn't just build a park, they literally built new ground.
So you're probably asking, how is that even possible? This diagram shows you the layers. It starts with these huge concrete beams that span the freeway. Then you add structural fill, complex drainage systems, this specially engineered lightweight soil, and finally, you get to plant the trees and the grass. It's just an incredible feat of engineering that helps stitch the city back together.
And this brings us right back to where we started. Seattle's Olympic Sculpture Park used the exact same deck park strategy.
You can see here how its clever Z-shaped path zigzags down the hill, bridging over a highway and a railway to finally reconnect the city to its waterfront.
So, we've seen all these amazing, almost magical transformations. But here's the thing. It's not magic. It's actually the result of a really powerful way of thinking, a kind of blueprint that every single one of these projects follows.
And it all boils down to this three-step process. First, you have research. You're asking, okay, what is this place and what problem are we actually trying to solve? Then comes analysis. What are its strengths, its weaknesses? What have we got to work with here? And finally, synthesis, where you combine all that knowledge to design a solution that truly fits the space.
And that analysis phase, man, it goes deep. Planners study everything from the geology to how water moves across the land. Remember the Bishan-Engwakio Park. They look at the soil, the existing plants, wildlife, even the microclimate. Every single park we've looked at was born from this super deep understanding of these natural factors.
And that brings us right back to the big idea. This quote really just says it all, doesn't it? It perfectly sums up the whole philosophy of landscape urbanism. It's not just about making our cities prettier, it's about making them work better by letting nature lead the way.
So the next time you walk past an old industrial site or a concrete canal or one of those highways that just divides a neighborhood in two, don't just see what's there now. Ask yourself, what could be here instead? What forgotten space in your city is just waiting to be reimagined?